Hi, my name's Trystan Petrash, and we're about a month into winter, which means we've only got about 4 months left. But that's okay, because today we're gonna pretend at least like it's still summer out and, you know, livable outside. And we're gonna do that by making some amazing Hawaiian food. Poke is probably the most recognizable dish in all of Hawaiian cuisine, and for good reason. It's incredible. It's also something I've become just a little bit obsessed with as of late. So today, we're gonna make the gold standard of poke, shoyu tuna. Now you're probably already wondering what type of tuna to buy. Which brings us to our brand new segment, Trystan Rants for 30 seconds. Now when it comes to raw tuna or any kind of raw fish, you will constantly be told to get the most expensive sushi grade fish you can possibly get. But you don't need to. In fact, pretty much every time I make tuna poke, or tuna tartare, or just anything tuna in general, I go for 30% off sale tuna. Because 1, it's really expensive to buy sushi grade fish. And 2, there's just nothing wrong with buying non-sushi grade tuna. So you always want to follow the 3 Ds. Does it look okay? Does it smell okay? And does it taste okay? And as long as it passes all 3 of those checks in that order, you are totally fine. Of course, you do run the risk of getting sick, but you run that risk with anything you're gonna eat, be it pork, chicken, beef, fully cooked, not fully cooked, you can get sick, period. At the end of the day, just use your best judgment. This has been another exciting segment of Trystan Rants for 30 seconds. Okay, so maybe that was closer to 60 seconds, but you get the idea. Alright, so with poke, the goal is to end up with nice even cubes, roughly about 2 centimeters. So how you cut your tuna will depend on its shape and size. The key to slicing tuna, or any raw fish, is to 1, use a really sharp knife, and 2, let the knife do the work by slicing it back towards you in one motion. I was lucky enough to score this really nice piece, which was about 4 centimeters high, making getting even slices that much easier. You can, of course, go a bit bigger or smaller. It doesn't really matter ultimately. Just keep in mind, going too small will cause the tuna to get kinda mushy, especially once it's all mixed together. But going too big will make it take longer for the marinade to work its magic. Using a really sharp knife is crucial for this, especially when you get to the eye of the tuna steak, where all of the layers run in a circular pattern. A knife that isn't very sharp will just tear at the layers and cause them to fall apart. Insert joke here about Gordon Ramsay screaming that it looks like a dog's dinner. Toss those sexy tuna cubes into a small bowl, and to that add shoyu, soy sauce, light soy sauce, sesame oil, freshly grated ginger, kosher salt, and freshly cracked black pepper. Now these next 3 ingredients aren't exactly traditional, but after playing with this recipe for a bit, I think really make it pop, starting with calamansi juice, which is a type of Filipino citrus. If you can't get any, half lemon and half lime will do the trick. Fish sauce. I'm using Red Boat, which is like the extra virgin olive oil of fish sauces and has a very intense flavor and saltiness. Typically you'd find oyster sauce in shoyu poke, but the fish sauce gives it a similar flavor without being thick and sugary. And lastly, Yuzu Hot Sauce. It's made with jalapenos, so it's not overly spicy, and the yuzu, which is a Japanese citrus, really gives it a nice clean flavor. But you can of course use whatever you'd like. You do you. The final thing we'll be adding is some thinly sliced green onion. Give everything a good but gentle mix as to not break or mash any of the tuna. Then set aside in the fridge. It can be eaten straight away or left to marinate for no more than 12 hours. And of course, because my kitchen now smells like tuna, someone decided she needed to investigate the situation. Now, poke was originally eaten as is, but it's since become synonymous with rice bowls. It also turns into a nice full meal. I'm going with the Japanese short grain, as the stickier texture is great for this. The most important step when making rice is to thoroughly rinse it off in cold water to remove excess starch. Agitate it with your hand and massage the grains. Then drain and repeat 2 to 3 times until the water runs clear. For short grain rice, a rice to water ratio of 1 to 1.25 will give you perfectly fluffy rice every time. Bring to a boil over high heat, season with kosher salt, then cover and simmer on low for 20 minutes. Since poke was eaten as is, there are no real or legit toppings, so as per Trystan Petrash policy, I'll simply be showing you how I like mine, starting with edamame. It's usually sold frozen, or at least that's how I'm able to get it. There really isn't much to do for it aside from warming it up with some boiling water. If you've never had edamame before, it's like a summer sweet pea, but you know, bean-shaped. I'm also going with some cucumber, because it's healthy, delicious, and easily one of my favorite vegetables. It also gives the dish some much-needed texture. To maximize the crunch factor, we're gonna remove the seeds and membrane from the middle by slicing around it, until you're left with this. And I think you and I both know exactly what to do with it. You want to try and have consistency in shape and size between the tuna and the vegetables, so we're going to cut the cucumber exactly as we cut the tuna. By this point, the rice will be done and just needs to be fluffed with a spoon. Then it's just a matter of busting out your fanciest... bowl. Adding the rice now will give it a chance to cool down a bit while we finish our last vegetable and toppings. Otherwise, the residual heat will partially cook the tuna, and nobody wants that. For toppings, I like to keep mine pretty simple, with just some nori or toasted seaweed chopped into thin pieces. And of course, some thinly sliced green onion tops. The last vegetable we're gonna do is an avocado. You're gonna want to prep this right before you're ready to eat to avoid oxidization and having it turn brown. Now, I'm sure most of you know how to cut open an avocado and remove the pit by hitting it with the heel of a knife. But there is in fact an easier and safer way. Using 2 fingers and your thumb, simply push the pit out from behind. Magic! Then just use a spoon to scoop the flesh out in one smooth piece. Slicing it in half, then in 2/3 will give you nice little cubes to match the tuna and cucumber. In a large bowl, combine the avocado, cucumber, and strained edamame. When adding the tuna, strain off any excess marinade to avoid the poke from becoming too watery. But do add a tablespoon's worth to lightly dress everything. The marinade will be infused with tuna and taste amazing. Then gently fold everything together until mixed. Spoon on top of the cooled rice and garnish with thinly sliced green onions, chopped nori, some toasted sesame seeds, and just for fun, some toasted black sesame seeds. And that's it. Hawaii's famous shoyu tuna poke. Not only is it extremely flavorful, packed with umami, and bright and colorful, it's also incredibly healthy, and the perfect meal to combat all of that not as incredibly healthy holiday food. I've easily made it 4 times in the last few weeks. It's seriously that good. If you like my channel and are interested in supporting it, while also getting some cool perks like access to my private Discord server and its growing community, exclusive content like my how-to series, and a shout out in an episode, you can check out my Ko-fi page. I'll leave a link in the description. And hey, if you've made it this far, consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons so you'll never miss out on new episodes every Wednesday. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome. But at the end of the day, if you see... Yeah.